couple of games against Wayne State, and then this weekend some games against Augustana, including some rare games against Augustana, maybe not so rare, but from our perspective, we were doing the Winona State spring football game while you guys were doing the baseball on the other side of the field. And so we kind of had to watch out for fly balls during the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's well, when we got we had a whole bunch of things going on for our athletics, between tennis being on the road, conference tournament, track at a track meet in town here, spring football, baseball. So a lot of things going on for, if you're a sports fan, it was a good day in Winona.
Yeah, and it certainly kept Pete Watkins busy over at Winona State.
Yep.
Let's back up though and talk about Wednesday against Wayne State. A couple of big wins against Wayne State. Obviously, as we get towards the end of the regular season and the playoff push, every game seems to be more important. Tell us a little bit about Wayne State and what you saw from your team during those two games.
Well, we played two pretty good games that day. So I think pitched really well. Bailey Banazinski started the first game, went 5 innings, and was his normal self, pitched really well, commanded the strike zone. And then Peter Taviti and Nick Carroll came in and did their job, 1 inning apiece, and closed out the game for us for the 6-2 win. Second game, Justin Furpo, who's been inserted into this rotation, kept us in the game. And then we were able to get to Mitch Miller. Well, it's spelled Mueller, but it's pronounced Miller. But our freshman guy, that he's been very good again for us this year. He went 4 innings, didn't give up any more, and then Nick Carroll finished it out for us again. But I think the biggest thing that day, we had 28 hits in the doubleheader. Our bats are starting to come alive a little bit. And then 1 through 9 in the lineup was all kinds of different guys. We had a freshman, Austin Beyer, again, who's stepped in and had to play third base, and ended up going 3 for 5 on the day for us in that second game. So it was a very, very good overall day of baseball. 1 through 9 in the lineup doing their job, and our pitching staff did a great job.
I wanted to talk a little bit about your bullpen, because you've got a lot of great guys that come in. You were talking about Peter Taviti coming in as kind of like a middle reliever or towards the end of the game, and then Harold and Miller at the end coming on to be able to be your closers. Tell us a little bit about the bullpen and the trust that you have in some of these guys coming in at the late stages of the games.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have, really. It's we knew what Harold has because he's been with us a couple years, but Peter and Mitch are both freshmen. They were unknown quantities, and actually Peter didn't throw much in the fall because he was rehabbing an arm injury, but he looks like he's probably pretty close to 100%. And Mitch was just a big, strong, raw kid that we didn't know what we were going to get at. We knew he threw the ball hard, but he's worked his butt off to become a pitcher and have the different pitches, off-speed pitches to go with his fastball. And then we've had a couple other guys that have been able to help out in spots. Jacob Hipsch has been a guy that we can count on a little bit. Nathan Santos has got a few innings where we need to, those guys are 1-inning guys, and they've been doing a good job as well.
And then, of course, you were talking about the bats, and you've been getting some power lately, which is nice to get some home runs. I mean, obviously, manufactured runs are kind of what powers the team, but to get some home run power really helps at this late part of the season.
Yeah, and it comes, I think Nick Herbst had one at Wayne, and then we've got Zach Stang, who's been one of our better hitters the last couple of years, is finally getting back to be healthy, so you can see that in his swing as well. And he had a home run. And then Sam Conley, our guy, we talked about him in the past, over 200 some hits and whatever, and he finally got that home run, a big 3-run home run in the first game that got us back into the game and tied it. We eventually lost it late in the game, but that was a big key hit for us, and so that was key for him to get that monkey off his back, because everybody's giving him a hard time about it. But he's a good hitter. He's just a good hitter, and he finally got one to get out of the park.
Yeah, that was Saturday against Augustana. We happened to be at the park at the time when that happened. The roar of the crowd and the roar of the team once that happened, I mean, that was just amazing, and just an amazing moment for not only him but the team as well.
Oh yeah, and everybody's been rooting for him to get that home run. And yeah, we had a couple of guys that played in the last couple of years. we almost got in trouble because he wanted to run out in the field. It kind of reminded me when Hank Aaron hits number 715. And I thought, this is a young man that was here. I thought he was going to do the same thing and run out and do that. But he stopped before the foul line, which is good. So, but yeah, it couldn't happen to a better guy. The whole team was rooting for him, and to get it, and get emotional here. But when he got it, it was good.
Yeah, and I was happy to kind of be a small part of it, because when that went over the fence, I went to go track the ball down. I didn't know who hit it, but I just had it, and I was gonna, use it as a prop on the show here to say, hey, you almost hit us here.
Yeah.
And his dad came across the field, and he said, hey, did anybody find that ball? And I had it, and I gave it to him, and that was a great moment that his dad was there to get the ball.
Yep. And his dad's a great guy. His dad was a guy. I coached a little bit of him in Stevens Point in the late 80s, early 90s, when I was helping out there a little bit. And that's actually when, in the recruiting process, when Sam's name came across my desk and I saw Conley and I found out that he was Chris Conley's son, that was kind of a key thing for me I need to follow this guy and watch and see what he does. So, but that was again, that was a big important moment.
Yeah, and a great moment as well. Let's talk a little bit about the whole Augustana series, because, I mean, as I said, the energy was incredible, and obviously it was reunion weekend, so you had a lot of the former players able to, watch, and they were introduced in between games. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to have the games this past weekend against Augustana, because it seemed like this was a big weekend for Winona State baseball.
Yeah. And I, looking at the schedule, I thought, hey, this will be a make and break weekend for us. Hopefully we'll play good baseball. Like Augie's, them and Mankato are the cream of the crop in our league. And for a lot of obvious reasons that we can talk about a whole long time ago, for a long time, but they're the top. And so our push was to make sure we play good baseball, get 2 if we can, make sure we get at least 1, but play. And we had, it was, it was first game 6-5, and then we won 5-4. And then the third game, we had a chance. We had guys on base in the bottom of the 9th and first and third, and we had our leadoff guy up. And if we get a hit there, we're looking at a different thing. But instead, we ended up getting beat 6-4. But when you look at it, and we played well. We played well against a good team. Had 3 really good games, and yes, I would have liked to get 2 out of 3, but we got 1, and so it's setting us up for the last 10 games. If we play well, we'll be okay.
I want to talk about game 2 on Saturday just a little bit, because you got 4 runs right away in that game, and then Augustana started to come back a little bit, and then at the end of the game, or the last inning, I think it was, Nate Loomis made this diving catch in center field to basically save the game, although Mitch Miller then I think had the last 2 batters, and I think he struck those guys out to actually wrap it up. But talk about that catch and what that meant to salvage that last game.
Yeah, I honestly, from where I sit in the dugout and where our guys sit, I saw the ball was hit, and I knew, this is going to be a tough one. And then I hear our guys all cheer, and I go, how, Nate got it? And they go, yeah, they said he flat out dove and got it. And Nate is a unbelievable athlete. He can run, and some of the things he can do as an athlete are unbelievable. And he really made himself into a very good center fielder. And so when the ball goes up out there, most times I'm thinking, it's going to get caught. But I knew that ball was hit well, and when our guys cheered, I know, hey, all right, Nate got there and got it. So because when I sit down, and I can't see out that way, and so I just kind of rely on the reaction of our guys. So, but yeah, the big cheer, I knew he caught it. Then I had to ask, well, did he get it standing up? Oh no, he had to dive for it. And I went, oh god. Okay, so but all right, though, he got it. So that's the biggest thing, he caught it.
All right, let's talk about the last couple of weeks of the season. As I was telling you off camera, I'm surprised that it's the last 2 weeks of the year. All these games are really going to count. Right now, you're in 6th place in the NSIC. There's this log jam of teams. I mean, you could finish possibly 3rd, maybe even 4th or 2nd in the conference. You have Upper Iowa coming up in Sioux Falls this week, and then next week it's Concordia and Minnesota State. Just talk about what's coming up for you guys because these are huge games.
Yeah, when we got done with the games on Sunday and then after practice yesterday, I said I reemphasized that if you want to look at the standings, go ahead and look. We know we're in a good position right now to be in the conference tournament, but if we play well, stay focused, play one game at a time, we could be in a chance to possibly host. So that first weekend, the first top 4 teams host the best 2 out of 3. So that's kind of our goal. But in order to get there, we keep talking about making sure we play one game at a time. And then once that next game gets done, then we'll worry about the next one and we'll move on. These are teams that I think they're all behind us in the standings. If I looked at the other day. So these are games that we can't look past, but are games that, we should probably be able to get there's 7 games here. If we can get 5 out of those 7, that should set us pretty well for the weekend against Mankato. But we can't go into them thinking, hey, these are easy wins, because they're not. Our league, there are no easy wins anymore. Mm-hmm. 10 years ago, you could say that. 15, 20, 30 years ago, there were weekends you get 3 or 4. That doesn't happen anymore in our league. It's top to bottom. It's as good as any league in the country.
From the manager's standpoint, how do you set up your pitching rotation now? Do you just do exactly what you've been doing the rest of the season?
Yeah, because what we may do after next week, Wednesday, we'll maybe take a look and see if we want to flip a couple guys on the weekend at Mankato, depending on because the conference tournament for that best 2 out of 3, we'll probably want to switch our order a little bit. So we'll try. What we'll do is we'll watch and we'll take game situations. We'll watch pitch counts, see where they are, so we know how many days we have to have off before. And if there's a guy that we can get them back on 3 days rest or 4 days rest. Because right now, basically, our guys are getting a week rest in between their starts because they're either a weekend guy or a midweek guy. So, but once we get to that conference tournament, Coach Riley and I have talked that we may have to flip a couple guys, but that's something that we want to get through tomorrow and this weekend before we really think about that. So.
All right, very good. We have about a minute or so left in the segment. I just want to go back to reunion weekend. What was it like to see those guys again?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them, and I was hoping there were going to be more guys from our 2011 team that finished second in the nation, in that runner-up position. But I know a lot of them have families and stuff now. But a lot of the older guys were around. A couple guys I played with, guys that played with Coach Grubb. Coach Grubb was able to come out, so it was great, and all the guys wanted to see him. So yeah, it was a great atmosphere, great weekend, a good baseball. I just wish the weather would have been a little bit more cooperative. It was a little bit chilly for some of the stuff, but it was good enough to play. So yeah, I look forward to that alumni weekend every year because you see a lot of guys that you don't see for a year, whatever, catch up with them and find out how things are going for them.